Hi, welcome to Zakaya's Facebook Live series on employment. I'm Brianna Bowling. I'm the founder and ex-president of Zakaya, and I also have with me Tina Incian, who is a recruiter at Zakaya. So on Tuesday, we gave you some tips on things to watch out for. And today, we're going to go into a little bit more detail and strategies for actually addressing some of those issues. And while we're live, feel free to ask questions. You can put them right down here in the comments. And we're going to do our best to answer them while we're live. We're learning this technology too, so we'll see how that goes. And if you're watching the replay, you can also post your comments below, and then we will answer them next week during our live broadcast. So Tina, one issue you said last week, or on Tuesday, I'm sorry, to look out for was the lighting. So can you give us some tips on how we might improve the lighting during a video interview?
Sure, Brianna. Lighting is super important, and it's better to have the window in front of you. Natural lighting is better, if at all possible, and it's better to have the window in front of you so that it's shining onto you. A window in back of you is terrible because backlit subjects are very, very hard to see. The glare usually makes it so that the subject becomes very, very dark. And if you have the window to one side or the other, it usually lights up one side or the other of your face, and that looks a little strange too. So it's great if you can have the window directly in front of you, shining at you. And also, if you practice at the same time of day. This was a hard learned lesson for me personally. When we decided to start this series, I did a lot of practicing so that I could be prepared. And I practiced in the morning around 10 a.m. And it was nothing like 3 p.m. So the first time I was a little shocked. And luckily I was able to make a few adjustments before our live broadcast. But yeah, definitely practice at the same time of day that you anticipate having your live video conference, and that'll help you out.
Great. Those are really nice tips. And I know that you and I struggled with that a little bit. We played around with the lighting. We by far still don't have it perfect, but we're learning. And you can learn that too when you're practicing your video interview too. So is there any particular special camera that you need, or is, looking at your background, is there any particular background that we should keep in mind when we're doing a video interview?
This was an interesting thing for me to learn as well. I started out by using the camera that came with my laptop. And then my husband said, hey, we've got this great webcam. And so I said, okay, let me give that a try. And it was super high def and a really nice camera. And it was a little too high def. It actually was a factor. I preferred the camera on my laptop. Also, that camera did not have a light source, and the one on my laptop does have a small light source. So I ended up going back to just the camera on my laptop. I was a little bit more comfortable with it. It seemed to work a little better. And that also leads into, you want to make sure you're looking into the camera. So if you've never done video before, you may not realize that you're going to show up on your screen talking to the person. One, that can be super distracting for you. And two, if you're looking at the screen, you can tell, the other person can tell that you're not looking to the camera. Your eyes aren't focusing on them. So be careful, no matter which camera you end up going with, to be looking in the camera and not into the screen. The last thing I would say is, two more things. I actually have, you want to make sure that the camera is kind of not too high, not too low, not too far to either side. You're in the center of it, and that you're not too far away and not too close. So if you can, when you see the person that you're talking to, kind of try to take up as much as the screen as they do in their screen. That's a good rule that I like for how far away or how close to have your camera. And then the last thing is your backdrop. We kind of hit a little bit on it before, that you don't want anything in your background that is going to detract from what you want your potential employer to know about you. But you can have some things in your background, and it's great to go ahead and just set up like a little mini artificial set ahead of time.
Right.
And we've actually gotten some feedback from people doing all kinds of things, not just in the technology sector. One of them works for a ranch and recruits for a ranch for summer jobs. So if you were applying for that kind of work, it'd be a great idea to have something like a nice saddle in your background. If you were applying for a tech job, maybe you were going to be doing some game design, have a VR headset in your background. Those kind of things that are relevant to the position that you're applying for.
Those are really, really good tips. And I know I'm going to go a little off of what we had discussed. We were going to talk just a little bit. Sorry, I'm going to throw you in a bus a
Okay.
bit. But one of the things that you and I were talking about last week is that there's a lot of things. This is a tough learning curve for a lot of people in terms of, learning all these new technologies. And so one of the things that we did want to make sure that we express to people is that the recruiters want you to do a good job. Like, we really want you to do successful at this, and you're not going to do it perfectly. And that's okay. We're all human. There's all kinds of things that can happen. If, your kids come running in behind you, well, you're human, and we understand that. And that's okay. So we do also want to make sure that your recruiters definitely understand that. Tina is a fabulously nice person, and don't worry if something went wrong. So just wanted to point that out. So is there anything else that you would like to add, Tina?
There are a couple more things that I wanted to add, and actually what you brought up just plays perfectly into it. The distractions, we kind of talked about them a little bit last time, but one of the things I didn't tell you, and it's one of the most important things, is to tell your family or whoever else happens to be in your space with you, in your house with you, tell them that you're going to be doing a live interview. And that'll help so much. Most of these people, they don't want to accidentally end up in your interview. They just may not know. And we're all getting a little, kind of comfortable being in the house and seeing our partners and our kids every day. And they don't know that you're an interview unless you tell them. I told my husband, and lo and behold, it goes right into my next point. If you have a loud HVAC system, if you have a loud dishwasher, try not to have any of those things going during your interview, because your mic will pick up on that. And of course, I tell my husband about this coming up, and he turns on the dishwasher, which apparently takes a lot longer than I ever knew to run a cycle.
Right.
So those are kind of things that you can kind of try to avoid. But if it happens, we're all human. And nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody starts out great at this. We're all trying to learn and get better in these times. A lot of us have worked with this before, but a lot of us haven't. And if you stumble, if something happens, don't yell. Don't let it throw off your whole track. Just kind of laugh, take it in stride. It's really not about how we fall or how many times we fall. It's about how we get back up and how we proceed. And as a recruiter, that's absolutely something that I'm looking for. I know if you're hired, I know you're going to have challenges in the position. It doesn't matter if you love the job and you're the smartest employee we've ever hired, there's always going to be challenges. So I'm more interested to see how you take those challenges. So that would be my best advice for that. And mute all of your phones and also your Facebook and any type of messenger apps. They will absolutely ding right in the middle of your interview and throw you off.
So Tina, these are all super good tips. I think they're going to be very helpful in no matter what industry you're applying for a position. So very much appreciate you doing this. I know that this is outside both of our comfort zones, doing a video conversation. And so I know that it's going to be difficult for some people to be doing video interviews too. So it's great for you to share your insight and get to know, the people who might be interviewing with you, getting to know you a little in advance. So to be clear, Zakaya does have positions open, and so you should be applying to Zakaya Technologies and sending your resume to Tina, because she would love to talk to you and potentially do a video interview. So thanks very much. We are going to see you again. We're going to do this for a little while. Not sure how long, but we're going to be doing every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock. So tune into the Zakaya Technologies Facebook page, and we're going to have, I think next Tuesday, we are going to be discussing what makes a great resume. We get a lot of resumes. We flip through them really fast. So what are the ones that catch our eye? So stay tuned. And if you have any questions or any comments about that in particular, or any employment topic, post them in the comments below and we will answer them. So see you next week, Tina.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.